Here's a text for you. Arsenal thought they could hide behind their set pieces forever and became one-trick ponies, but teams now know the trick. I think there might be an element of truth in that, do you?
No.
Oh.
No, I disagree. I don't think they were hiding behind anything. I think they just utilised what they were good at. I don't think they were hiding behind it. I just think actually the opposite. I think they deserved enormous credit for it.
But did they become too reliant on it?
There's an element of that, probably. Yeah. Rather than say they became reliant on it, I like to look at it the other way and say they used it to their benefit, maybe to the detriment of general play. That's potentially you couldn't argue with.
Okay, let's get the views of some Arsenal fans, shall we? Alan is an Arsenal fan. Morning, Alan.
Good morning, Alan.
Morning, guys.
Not been a great week for you, my friend, has it?
No, not again. It's just, I think it's to just leave Arteta alone for a bit. What people need to remember as Arsenal fans is he's not just building a team. He's had to build a squad, a whole squad from the start, from where we were when he came in. And Piers Morgan, please go and learn about football before you start making stupid comments. You could go to Newcastle with an open checkbook and they are not going to sell their star striker. Do you not understand the rules of football? Last season, everyone was saying, go and get Ollie Watkins. What's happened to him this season? The season before that, it was go and get Tony. Where's he gone? He scored 4 goals in the Sunday League. Arteta's not daft. He knows we need a forward. But when he first came in, we were shipping goals for fun. Now we don't. So he's built the back. He's built the middle. Yes, now he needs to build the top. Yes, it's frustrating as an Arsenal fan and it hurts that you get knocked out after all them shots and whatever. But give the guy a break. He's still building.
Alan, Ted, who's an Arsenal fan in Farnham, says Arteta has spent £741 million in new players over 5 years. So, that's some finance for the building work. Do you think that you're a better side this season than last season?
Yes. The difference this season to last season is, last season, everything pretty much went our way. We had no real major injuries. The only thing that went against us were Man City were the absolute unbelievable team that they were for the last 2 seasons. This season, they are going against us. Saka injured. Any team, you take Salah out of Liverpool are not the same team. I don't care what they've got up front. You take Salah away, they're not the same team. So, yeah, we're going to miss Saka. Odegaard was injured, and it was a bad ankle injury. It takes time. If you've ever played football or watched it, he's not just going to come straight back in, especially in a team that's struggling with no other creative around him. He is going to struggle at the moment. He'll find his form again. Saka will come back eventually, and we'll be back to where we were, and everyone will be, what happened? It's just one of them things. Everything that can go against us is. If
you could pick a centre forward, who would you take, Alan? I mean, and I include Isak in it. Would you take him? I know it's a hypothetical question, but would he be your number one choice? Because I think somebody like Victor Osimhen, and I've already said earlier on this morning that I don't think he's at the level he was 2 years ago, but I think he can get back there. And he hasn't dropped dramatically, by the way.
I would take Osimhen. I wouldn't take Isak because he wouldn't fit into the way Arsenal play. Arsenal don't play the same way as Newcastle. He wouldn't fit in, so he wouldn't score all the goals that he's scoring.
I think he might have scored 1 or 2 of them yesterday, to be brutally honest. But Alan, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Alan.
What about Ranjit, who's an Arsenal fan as well? Morning, Ranjit.
Morning, Ranjit. How are you doing?
Yeah, hi, good morning, folks. No, I just think that Arteta, there's something missing from the Arsenal setup. We all know it's a striker. And I think, how many times do we have to keep on playing and every time we keep missing those chances? We need somebody to score those goals. And I think, we're crying out for this person. Where are you? Go and get him. Get somebody. We need somebody. Otherwise, our season's going to go or pear-shaped again. It's just already, we were at nearly 2 cups. Well, we're still in the half a chance for the Carabao Cup, but I don't know. I still think that Arteta is still the main man for us in that team, but we still need a striker. And if we can go out there and get somebody, that's what we need to do.
Ranjit, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ranjit.
Indeed, I think that's the consensus, is that they...
I think
it's blindingly obvious, isn't it, that they need to sign a striker. Need to find someone from somewhere this window.
I think the Arsenal fans, the majority of them are you can hear the frustration that it hasn't been done already, you know. And I don't mean in the last week or so, I mean in the last whatever it may be since perhaps Aubameyang actually.
Just before we move on, I just want to say good morning to Jonathan in Dean's Hangar, who's texted to tell us how much he's enjoying the programme. Moving on. You might have seen pictures of a very empty Stadium of Light on Saturday. Sunderland lost to Stoke in the FA Cup third round after extra time. Official attendance around 15,000. Stoke boss Mark Robbins, a man, of course, synonymous with the FA Cup, admitted after the game he was a bit alarmed by the number of empty seats.
No crowd, really. It's a real weird one, this. This is the FA Cup. You know, where are the people? I understand the cost of things and where people are, and it must be really biting because the coal's biting, the finances are biting. It's not good. It isn't good, and it's really worrying and really sad. You know, because I've seen that there's been empty stadia up and down the country. So this club normally has 50,000 people in it, and is absolutely rocking. So it is a bit of a surprise. Thank you to everybody that came, because that's really important. And particularly our support that have travelled for a long distance.
Well, it is slightly alarming. I think the FA Cup, attendance have been in decline for some time now. And by the way, there were a lot of big crowds at the weekend.
Of course
there were. A lot of big crowds
at
the weekend. But there were one or two. I think Sheffield United on the Thursday night, that was a shock. 6,000 or so. Fulham against Watford as well, that was a low attendance.
I take Mark's point, particularly clubs like Sheffield United and Sunderland, who are renowned for having a fantastic support. You know, but he's also right to mention a couple of things. It's very, very expensive for families nowadays to live, never mind enjoy the comfort of going to games of football with kids and things like that. So, yeah, but it's something you need to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Just an interesting text here. I'm no Arsenal fan, but one that hasn't been mentioned, which would be or could be a great move, could be Dominic Calvert-Lewis from Everton. It might be a risk, but they could get him on the cheap, and I think personally he's got something to prove. Well, it's an interesting option, isn't it?
Poor.
And Everton would be keen to do business.
Yeah.
Because it would, obviously, in financial terms, it would give them the chance to spend.
Yeah, as long as David Moyes get the opportunity to spend it immediately.
Yeah.
Because if you sell him and you don't replace him and you get relegated, that's negligence, effectively. Plus the fact, I'm not sure his goal scoring record would indicate that he's Arsenal's first choice.
Playing for a team that don't create any real chances or many chances.
I get it, but I would still say his goal ratio should be better. And I do take your point, playing with a team that's not creating an awful lot of chances. No, but
I just think when there are so few options around it, it might be, who knows, But I still go back to, if Everton sell him and they don't replace him and get relegated, wow. Daz, the Borough fan, said it is criminal that Arsenal never signed Ivan Toney.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.